Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome back to the Daily Zone, the Daily View on this channel. Me, your host, Drew Streely, Calvin or whatever you want to call me. I hope you're all having a fantastic Saturday. Obviously, I had D&D today, so we will be yapping a little bit about that. But I also want to talk about two little culinary tricks that may help you in the kitchen. They're going to be very short. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I was combining stuff, and I make buffalo dip quite frequently in the house. It's a pretty good staple. But sometimes I never really follow a recipe. I just kind of throw the ingredients I know into a pan, and they go, yeah, that's good, it works. I will let you know, the more cream cheese, the better any dip is just going to be. That's my conclusion for buffalo dip. That's my first culinary trick. Add more cream cheese. If you think you have enough, just add a few more blocks. The second, which is honestly more of a innovation for myself, today I wanted something sweet. I threw in some chocolate chips and some coconut oil because my grandmother gave me it. In the microwave, I let that melt down, and then I added my ice cream to that mixture, and it formed a hard outer shell of like chocolate on the outside of this, the ice cream, and it was very, very good. It was very, very good. If you haven't tried it, I definitely recommend melting some chocolate and some coconut oil, and then putting some ice cream in the thing, or pouring that. Honestly, pouring that over your ice cream would probably be better. But eat it fast. The longer it sits, the harder that stuff got. And at one point, like the bottom of it, they're just rock. It was just solid as rocks. I could not get them out. Though I was eating it with a plastic spoon, so take it with a grain of salt. Ooh, salt on that would be pretty good too. But beyond that, obviously I ran my session today. Give you a little sneak peek. This is how it ended. It's pretty peak. It was pretty peak. Okay, it was pretty good. Everybody had a pretty good time. With the exception of a few kind of problems with the classes where like Bardic Inspiration and Sneak Attack wasn't working because I hadn't coded them properly. One for All Steve had a pretty good time. He did struggle with the final boss fight, which I don't have because I deleted all those maps to kind of clear up space. But they had a pretty good time. Obviously, they went around. They did kill a few souls. They like permanently kept some souls from going to the afterlife. That was pretty metal. They didn't know. But they found out shortly after that encounter. Yeah, they just prevented some people from going to the afterlife, which I thought was very funny. I also met some NPCs. Y'all won't have the sentimental things that I have for these guys. These are from an old campaign that two of my characters immediately clocked and was like, oh, I recognize these people. These are people from like the first campaign you ever ran, like your first big homebrew setting. And it's pretty nice to have them. Ignore the alignments. They don't really matter. Typically, I just end up grabbing stat blocks to kind of stat out characters. It's better than having to make an NPC stat block and it being empty and then be like, well, can I do a persuasion check? And then me being like, well, I have nothing to reference this, so I'm just going to pull up a number. In this one, at least, I have some things. And obviously, there's Bricky. He's my British English bulldog. And they helped him get a ship that was the size of a city. And he also sold them the red scarf. And also, one of my players has... it would be Elbertson, has the white ribbon. It makes him cute, and he has the cutie patootie passive effect, which gives him +1 to his AC. And there's more of that to come, but this was just a test run, and I would say it was a success. The only place I fell kind of short was, I feel like, in the boss fight. I wasn't wacky enough, and that was because they're level 1, and I didn't want to go too crazy. But I'm definitely going to do more on it. But I would say it was a success. A resounding success. Why is there two of him? I don't know. Why is there two of y'all? I don't know. But, resounding success. They honestly loved it to the point where I'm scared they might like it more than they like the Kingmaker game that I'm running. Mainly just because I was so wacky. There was a satyr fight. So after they killed these souls and like preventing them from going to the afterlife, it was one of the you're trying to save these people by getting rid of the corruption, and in this case, they were rats, and you had to bring them a piece of cheese that was floating around the map, and it would cure them of this corruption. They didn't pick up on the mechanic, so, the three of the rats kind of got killed. But they saved one. You may be asking, what rat did they save? They saved Gorgonzola from, Chowder. Or she wasn't Gorgonzola, she was a giant rat, where, if she types in chat, when she types in chat, she is a giant rat, but she's Gorgonzola now. She's not called Gorgonzola, she's called Sheila, but I think I might change it to Gorgonzola just because it's funnier. But after that encounter, the next encounter, they were like, well, we don't know who's evil and who's bad. Even though I kind of told him, I was like, if they're red and black, they're typically evil. So the next encounter, I had 3 satyrs jump them, and they go, "Oh my god, we love the witch! We are minions of the witch!" To which they all bursted out laughing, and they were like, "Oh my god, this is so funny!" I was having to beat them with a stick. It's like, we are evil. You can kill us. And they had a pretty good time. And obviously, here's Bricky and his massive ship. That was pretty good. They get to shop and sell their satyr horns. I cannot wait. Obviously, I made this map. This map is kind of rudimentary, if you can't tell. If you could see past the kind of shield that I've put over here, it's like 3 tokens and then like some mountains in a forest. But this is where they'll go if they come back next. I actually, in this one, this is the Kingmaker. I'm running two different games with the same characters. It's quite interesting. It takes a bit to load because there's a lot it's got to load. There's a lot it's got to load. Because Kingmaker is a girthy adventure path. I was trying to think of the word for it, and it's adventure path. Again, takes a second to load. My bad. But if anybody's watched Narnia or read Narnia, and you know the wardrobe that they go into Narnia through, I gave that to their king. He has the wardrobe from Narnia. I can't make that any bigger, but he has the wardrobe that he can put down and let other people in. And then I also gave him the necklace to the other side, which lets him take them to the other side. And also they have the piles of sticks and rocks that are their items from the other side. If you're wondering why I have such a somber song and it's raining and it's very somber, it's because I took one of the NPCs away. For anyone that's played Kingmaker, you will know a character called Tristan. I don't think my players so much picked it up. However, I definitely kidnapped him with the big overarching villain of the other side. At the very end, I fireballed the level 1 party. They were all going to die even if they saved. Because it dealt like 15 damage, and I think our tank had 15 HP. It was very funny. And I had him come down in an angel form and stop the fireball, and then he got captured and drug away into the veil. So it adds some more incentive to go back in case they wanted to. And like I said, it was a resounding success for most of them. Most of them had a absolute blast playing the characters they had. I gave my my fighter in this class, I gave him a wild shape. Loved it. I buffed wild shape in a way that he really enjoyed. He fought the final boss as a riding horse, which was kind of funny. He Tokyo drifted on a boss as a riding horse. Obviously my celebrity, Mr. Chef Albertson, who turned into an antenna, was having an absolute blast cutting. He had, was it cutting words? Or no, it was vicious mockery. He loved vicious mockery. That and command, he would ask me questions. They were honestly pretty good. He'd be like, "What's my favorite color?" And then I would roll a wisdom saving throw. Like, how am I supposed to know that? And he'd be like, "Oh, you failed, Neil." It was pretty good. My Mr. Rat, I made him kind of a more just like, he's just a good fighter. He's a character in my party. He really likes dealing damage. Like, he's a numbers guy. If I'm dealing a lot of numbers, like a lot of damage, I'm happy. So I just really focused on leaning into him dealing a lot of damage. Obviously Mr. Tongle, I turned into Spampton. And he didn't pick up the custom class. So, he was playing as a sorcerer, and then I was like, "Hey, did you notice I had a custom class made for you?" And he was like, "What?" And I was like, that makes sense. That makes sense. So next session, he gets to test out the custom class I made for him. And then obviously we had Steve from Minecraft as One for All. And he had a pretty good time up until the final boss fight, where unfortunately, when you get hit with Frightened and you're a melee character, it's real hard unless you can shake that Frightened. And he was just not rolling very good, because he also killed 2 people in this world, which gave him a minus to whatever he rolled to like save against the boss. And so he was not rolling very good. Plus he had a -2, so his DC was even higher than the other people's. He was able to get out of it at the very end, and he ran up and decked the boss in the face for like, I think he rolled max damage. He like rolled a D8 plus 4. Yeah, so he hit me for like 12 damage, which was kind of cracked. Yeah, it was nasty. It was very nasty. Balancing action economy is a very interesting thing, because if you throw something that's really high level and they're able to grapple and push to the ground and flank, and they like each time that character only gets one action to fight their like 5. It's real difficult. I really struggle with keeping them from getting their meaty paws on me, and then I'm just locked, and I'm like, well, I can't move because I spin my action and try to get out of their grapple, and then if you run, they'll go, well, we'll just stab you because we get attacks of opportunity in the 5v1. But yeah, other than that, they had a pretty good time. Now they're in the real world. The king of the kingdom, it's not a good sign that he just wants to go back there and doesn't want to run the kingdom. It's very funny. He's like, oh, I don't want to leave. And I was like, well, you got a kingdom to go run. You have chapter 4 of Kingmaker to go run while I can prep the next chapter of the other side. But yeah, we had an absolute blast. Beyond that, I intend to record some Deltarune tonight. So after this, after I get this video uploaded, I will be moving on to Deltarune. So look forward to that. I think I'm gonna cut those videos up into 30-minute segments instead of hour-longs, just so I can space them out more. And yeah. I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope y'all enjoyed my little rambles. I will hopefully see y'all in the Deltarune, and if I don't see you in the Deltarune, then I'll hopefully see y'all tomorrow on the channel and make another Daily Zone. Thank y'all so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.